I would really like you to take a moment and try this one on your own before you do it with me. This is very similar to the one that we had just done before I introduced the artificial formula. So pause, and now we can come back together and try it out. Hopefully you've attempted it now. So once again, I'm going to label the pieces I'm given, what I'm looking for, because that as we move forward through this module is really going to help you be able to tackle these problems when you're unsure. All right, so we've got a bond situation. We obtain a $7,000 bond that pays 9% interest annually that matures in 5 years. All right, so initial amount, P naught, was 7,000. R is our rate. That's the 9%, but we write that as the decimal form. If you use 9 and not 0.09 in your formula, it is not going to work. You need that decimal form. All right, and interest matures in 5 years. Annual interest matures in 5 years. That is the number of pay periods. The number of years is N being 5. All right, and we had that interest was equal to the initial amount times the rate times the number of periods. So we're just going to multiply these together, 7,000 times 0.09. That will find us the amount for 1 year, but we want it for 5 years. So we were multiplying by this by 5. Now, if you don't already have your scientific calculator, you absolutely need a scientific calculator for this course. You are not allowed to take your exams with anything but a scientific calculator. So I really encourage you get that already and you start using it on our lecture note examples, on our homework examples, because you need to be practicing with what you intend to use on an assessment. And that is the only kind of calculator that is allowed. If you have a graphing calculator, you can use that instead, but those are more expensive and those are not required. So make sure you have a scientific or a graphing if you already happen to have one for some other reason, right? I will not be showing, maybe once in a while I will, especially with the more difficult equations, but for something like this, which is just a multiplication, I'm not going to show you how I type it in the calculator. But if this is something where you're getting a different answer than I am, please make sure you reach out to me or you go to see someone else in the tutoring department and the math department to make sure that we can clear up any confusion that you may have with your calculator, because we want to make sure that you're confident going into an assessment, you're confident leaving this course and being able to replicate these things in the future, because this module is very useful when it comes to life outside of school, life into your future. All right, so I am multiplying these together. I get 3,150. All right, so that is the amount of interest that we get over 5 years. That is quite a lot. All right, so 3,150. And it only asked for the interest. It didn't ask how much the bond will pay out. All right, because if it was the bond paying out, well, then we would have to add 7,000 onto that value to get that end amount. All right, but it just asked how much interest will you earn? And that is the interest right there.